Welcome back, friends. So today we're going to start off with Chapter 5 of The Notebook of Doom. Book number 2, Day of the Night Crawlers. And if you remember in the last book, or in the last chapter, Alexander was looking for a way to get out of class because he had a plan for how he could go make a screeching sound to see if it would shrivel up all the worms, because he still seems to think they're mega worms. But his friends seem to think a little bit different. They seem to think that they're not mega worms. Rip thinks he's not on the right track. So let's start with Chapter 5, and we'll see if we'll find out what kind of worms they really are. Here we go. Chapter 5 is called Screech! Like a secret agent in sneakers, Alexander crept through the empty cafeteria. Some lunch ladies and a lunch man were busy cooking something green with purple chunks. Or is it purple with green chunks, thought Alexander. A small blackboard hung on the wall. Here's what the blackboard says. I want to show you. It says menu. Monday, chef's choice, which means the people get to pick what they're going to make. Tuesday, chef's second choice. Wednesday, leftover of chef's first choice. Thursday, chef's next to last choice. And Friday, the chef had no say in the matter. So basically, if you go to Sturmont Elementary, you never know what you're going to eat because they get to decide every day what you're going to eat. So you never know when you show up in the cafeteria what it might be. Alexander took down the blackboard. Okay, he thought. I just need to bring this to Mr. Horsley and ding! The elevator doors slid open. Alexander dove behind a fake fern, almost dropping the blackboard. And here we have the last part of our tour, the cafeteria, said Principal Vanderpants. Alexander peeked out over the fake fern. Mrs. Vanderpants came out of the elevator, followed by a masked woman in padded clothing. And here's what she looks like. Kind of looks like an astronaut, but then she's got some boots on and a jacket with a little heart on it. Terrific, said the masked woman. Or maybe she had said Jurassic. Her voice was pretty muffled by the mask. I'm pleased you could fill in on such short notice, said Miss Vanderpants. It's unlike Mr. Horsley to just disappear. Disappear, thought Alexander. The two women walked into the cafeteria. Alexander clutched the blackboard and slipped into the elevator just before the doors closed. He pushed 1 for the first floor lobby. Ding! Alexander burst out of the elevator. He looked out the lobby window. The ground was carpeted with night crawlers. The sky was still overcast, but the clouds were thinning out. He sprinted to the front desk. Mr. Horsley, I need your... Alexander stopped short. The desk was a mess. Papers were scattered about. The phone was off the hook. And Mr. Horsley was not there. And if you were listening very closely, Ms. Vanderpants was talking to whoever this was and saying it's so strange that Mr. Horsley would disappear on such short notice. Oh boy. Alexander picked up the receiver of the phone. Hello? Silence. Alexander hung up the phone. Mr. Horsley has disappeared, he thought, and it looks like he left in a hurry. The room brightened. A sunbeam broke through the clouds, shining on the worms below. No! Alexander lunged across the desk and grabbed the microphone. Take this, he yelled, raking his fingers across the blackboard. Screech! a terrible sound thundered through the building. Oops, thought Alexander. The microphone was still set to inside instead of outside. Ding! The elevator door slid open. Alexander! Ms. Vanderpants rushed out. We do not play on the intercom. Alexander quickly flipped the switch to outside and scratched the blackboard again. Screech! He looked out the window. The night crawlers were now bathed in sunlight, but they just kept wiggling. None of them grew as big as a school bus, and none of them ate anyone. I was wrong, thought Alexander. They're just plain old worms. He relaxed a little. Everyone's going to be just fine, he said. A firm hand squeezed his shoulder. I don't think everyone's going to be fine, said Miss Vanderpants. My office now. So it sounds like the only person who might have some trouble right now is Alexander, because he just took the microphone and talked into it. Okay, chapter 6 is called Table for 3. Usually you hear them say table for 2 when like 2 friends are out and they're going to dinner. But this is table for 3. And I see Nikki here with her hoodie on. By the time Alexander made it to lunch, the cafeteria was out of green stuff, and they were just serving purple chunks. He took a seat next to Rip. Wow, that was a super long bathroom break, Rip said, winking. Yeah, Miss Vanderpants was pretty mad, said Alexander. He sniffed a purple chunk. You know, I've never been in trouble like that before. You get used to it after the first 6 or 7 times, Rip said and chugged his milk. So, about those worms. Okay. You were right, Alexander grumbled. They were just regular night crawlers. Poor salamander, Rip smiled. It must be hard being friends with such a smart guy like me. Alexander swallowed a mouthful of chunks. I was wrong about the worms, but there are more monsters in Sturmont. Mr. Horsley said, Monsters? What are you two talking about? Nikki set her tray on the table and sat down. None of your business, Rip growled. Now, bug off. Nikki turned to Alexander. So, how did everything go with the worms? Fine. Alexander frowned. I guess. They all stared at the table. Lunchtime is over, Rip said, glaring at Nikki. He turned to Alexander. Let's go, Salamander. I'm sure Horsley will fill us in during gym. Oh, said Alexander, I almost forgot. Mr. Horsley is missing. I overheard Ms. Vanderpants telling some weird lady about it. Really? Asked Nikki. He probably got spooked by his own shadow, said Rip. I bet he's hiding in a locker, waiting for gym class to start. I sure hope you're right, said Alexander. I've got a lot of questions for him. I wonder if they're going to become friends with Nikki. Alexander seems like he would like to maybe sit and talk with her a little bit and get to know her. Rip's not being so nice, but if you think back in the first book, Rip wasn't very nice to Alexander too, and then they ended up becoming friends. So we'll have to see in the next few chapters whether Nikki becomes another character who we have to follow. Maybe she's going to help them find out what SSMP really means. All right, friends, so that's 2 chapters for today, and I will see you again for 2 chapters some more tomorrow. Bye.